Guys, today's video is massively important you follow this because I see it all the time through my skillless lessons. People standing up to the driver and taking that huge kind of spine tilt away from the target. That is not always going to help, and particularly if you do it too much, it's not going to be beneficial to you at all. Follow these 5 steps to driver setup, and that's going to massively help you improve your angle of attack, spin rates, distance, speed. I guarantee and promise you. Right, first things first, tee height. Make sure half of the golf ball is on top of the driver in terms of encouraging you to hit up on the golf ball. Some people are scared of skying it, okay? Now, it's not because you've got your tee height incorrect, generally. It's because you've got your angle of attack wrong and maybe even your swing path wrong as well. So they're the 2 bits we want to correct. Because if you lower your tee, then you're hitting down on the ball from out to in, which is obviously the most common one in golf. We create an outrageous amount of spin. So we want to try and reduce the spin. So this is great for golfers that don't hit down on the ball, that do hit down on the ball, for golfers that swing it from out to in, and for golfers that sky it. We've got to try and feel like the golf club is actually landing here. So this is a bold practice move, okay? Because you're in a position there with the golf ball teed up that you really do not want to be in, because you are scared of getting the beautiful top of your driver all messed up. Now, if it's already messed up, definitely crack on with this tip, because it's honestly life-changing. Not even life-changing, career-changing. This is going to get your handicap lower, okay? Right, so first things first, I've got a tee about 3 to 4 inches behind the golf ball. That's where I want my golf club to land as it comes into the golf ball, okay? And then as it comes through the golf ball, I want it to be working back up to the golf ball. So that's me hitting up on the ball. So teeing the ball up higher means that as I'm going up, I'm then able to launch it nice and high into the sky. And that's why it rhymes, because it's very, very important. Second bit in terms of setup, one of the most important things that I was mentioning at the very start of this video is spine tilt, okay? So if I set up to this golf ball, okay, and I've got the ball position in the middle of my stance, spine angle is pretty straight, okay? Now, if I actually just move across to my right side a little bit, so I've now put the ball position further forward in my stance, and I keep my golf club underneath my chest, and what I'm going to do, without moving any other part of my body, without moving my knees, without moving my head to the side, I'm just going to move the golf club behind the golf ball. Now, what I've done, you might notice my spine angle has just tilted. And we're talking 2 to 5 degrees. We're talking tiny amounts of spine tilt, okay? So I see a lot of golfers, and they kind of do this. I've seen this one quite a lot. They do this with the right hand. They go down to the knee, and now they're here. What this does, it's pulled the shoulders over the right hip, and now I can't turn correctly. Look at this for a spine tilt and rotation. Horrendous, okay? So all I want you to try and do, and this is a great little process to get into, you've got the ball teed up, half of the ball above the top of the driver. You're going to put the golf club in the middle of your stance. You're going to set up like a nice little, so if it's like a nice 7-iron, and then you're just going to keep the club along the ground and just slide it behind the golf ball. Very, very minute change in spine tilt at setup. That's all I need to do, okay? And now from that position, my head has stayed 2 to 3 inches behind the golf ball. My spine angle has tilted 2 to 3 degrees away from the target. My body weight, if anything, is on the inside of this trail leg, which is going to allow me to get some really nice rotation. And one of the things with weight transfer, and this is number 3, we don't want to get the weight transfer to the outside of this right foot or trail leg, because once you're over here, you're in no man's land. You could get the big push and the carve out towards one side, or you get it over the top and slice or pull hook it or whatever you can do from the other side. So massively important that when you've done you've got your tee height, you've got your ball position, and in doing so, you've just allowed the instep of the trail leg to really kind of dig in. And I've kind of got my trail knee inside of my trail foot, and I've got my big toe locked into the ground. Okay, that's solid. That's a solid foundation that is not moving. And talking of foundations in the setup, brings me nicely to number 4, because as you're doing all of this, you've got to have the correct width of stance. Shoulders are going to work inside of my feet, okay? So my feet are going to be the widest part of my body, all right? What that's going to do is going to give me the solid foundation to be able to rotate, to keep my balance, and to create speed and power as I come through the golf ball. So to work you back through to 1 to 4, you've got the tee height, half of the ball above the top of the driver. You've got a little tee peg there, which will be the middle of your stance to start your golf club. Slide the club from there into the golf ball, which is now give you a little bit of spine tilt. As you're doing that, the weight stays down the inside of this right foot. As you're doing that, you've already made your width of stance nice and wide, so it's wider than your shoulders, so you've got a really strong athletic start position. You don't want to go too wide because it can cause a sway, or it can cause an overbalance to your lead side. You don't want to go too narrow because it could basically do exactly the same as well. So you've got to get the width of stance correct. The last thing, the most important, after you've done the first 4, is body rotation. You've got to be able to turn, but all of those things that I've just set you up with are going to allow you to rotate. It's going to encourage you to rotate. So I get club in front of the tee height's perfect, got half of the golf ball on top of the driver, nice wide stance with my shoulders being able to fit inside of my feet. I'm going to slide the club underneath that golf ball there, so I've now got my natural spine tilt. I've got my right knee inside of my right foot, and I've got my right toe dug in. I'm in a strong position now. And what I want to try and do now is make sure I get my rotation away from the target. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can think about your chest going to that side, or I can think about getting my back to my target, okay? My lead shoulder is going to drop underneath my chin there, so I've managed to maintain my spine angle from setup, and that's key as well, because we often see this where the shoulders now become parallel to the ground, and I've lost my spine tilt that I had at setup, and that's really important. We do not want to do that at all. So we take the setup, I've tilted forward, I've got my really good strong posture, and as I'm rotating now, my lead shoulder is going to go underneath my chin to the middle of my stance. My back's going towards my target. You could think of one or the other. You don't have to think of all of these. All right, so I've got my rotation, powerful rotation, really coiled up nicely. I've got my body weight still on the instep of my trail leg. I haven't allowed it to lose over towards the outside of the trail leg, because that's going to give me really bad stability, but it's also I'm going to be so off balance, it's going to be a joke. Right, there's only one thing left to do with all of that. Go through the process. Tee height's perfect. Slide that club in behind the ball after you've got a nice width of stance. Lock down that right side, or trail side I should say for the lefties, and get that nice coil rotation. And that, my friends, is how you hit a straight tee shot. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit the like. Please also subscribe. Massive year coming in 2023. Do not miss it. Thanks for watching, guys.